All right, here we go. Our fantasy football ranking comparisons. It's interesting to see. At least when we went through this, we were shocked. We were pretty happy with some things, but also very disappointed with others.
Listen, it's insane because in the beginning, like me looking at my rankings, I'm like, I think I'm gonna get at over 50% of this right, 100%. Like, there's no way I'm not.
Yeah.
Boy, was I wrong.
You know what? Let's just jump right into it. Let's see what we got. Shall we?
All right,
let's do it. All right, so to kick us off, I think it's only fair we go back in the order that we started. So the first rankings we ever did were the tight end rankings. So I think it's only right we start there. So
top
here's
15.
the top 15. So here's the way it's going to work. Jay is going to read off number 1 through 15 on ESPN's app. Keep in mind also we do half PPR leagues. So this is all half PPR scoring. On full PPR, maybe it's a little different. I'm not too sure. But we're going to go straight off half PPR, ESPN fantasy app. Jay, kick us off.
All right. So at number 1 overall in the tight end position, Travis Kelce. No brainer. I mean,
come on. He has this quarterback. He doesn't have Tyreek Hill. Pretty obvious.
Exactly. And number 2, you got TJ Hawkinson, which I love because I had him in my 60-man league. You know, the big red machine. I had him there. So thank you, Hawk.
I'm not gonna lie, kind of shocked because that's a player that I think if he stayed on the Lions wouldn't have gotten there. So I'm happy for him. I really like him. So
I agree. And number 3, George Kittle, which great comeback from last season.
I was gonna say I'm so happy to see him back.
Great comeback. Yeah. Yes. At number 4, Mark Andrews.
Just real quick, so we could go back to George Kittle. Keep in mind that's also with 3 different quarterbacks because the 4th came into playoffs. But Trey Lance to start, Jimmy in the middle, Brock Purdy at the end. That's impressive.
Yeah, that's
impressive.
That is. So he's pretty much quarterback proof.
Yeah, seems like it.
So is he gonna be number 1 tight end overall next season?
We'll see. We'll talk about that later
on. So at number 4, Mark Andrews.
I mean, it doesn't shock me because, Mark Andrews is basically a wide receiver for the Ravens.
Yeah, and they pretty much had no wide receivers.
They had no wide receivers.
And I mean, it makes sense.
Do you think if Lamar never hurt himself those last few weeks, he would have maybe been top 3?
I think so. So now you got number 5, which is a big shock, which he should have never left this beautiful team. Evan Engram.
Yes, he should have never left. But to be fair, a lot of Giants fans were mad because he dropped too many balls. And I think if he was on the Giants, he wouldn't have been number 5.
That is true. Okay, I give you that. So at number 6, you have a quarterback, Taysom Hill.
Skip past him. I don't like him. Skip past him.
I agree. At number 7, you got Cole Kmet, which I was surprised. I'm not gonna lie. I was surprised. I didn't know what Fields was gonna offer, so I was definitely surprised.
It's surprising, but that's so much touchdown deodorant. Like he hit a stretch where he had 5 touchdowns or 6 touchdowns in 2-3 games. So yeah. At number 8, you got Pat Frymouth. I'm big on him. Hopefully he can keep improving.
Honestly, I was not big on him. I was a little shocked. Not gonna lie. At number 9, you got Tyler Higbee, which at the position that he's in, I guess it sounds about right. No Cooper Kupp, Allen Robinson not being consistent, so the running game not really being consistent. So it makes sense. Yeah. And then at number 10, you got Dallas Goedert, which Super Bowl bound.
Yeah, Super Bowl bound, and hopefully, Super Bowl loser next Sunday because
it's going Chiefs. He was definitely a big piece of that Philly offense.
I think if I'm not mistaken, he was top 5 before his injury, but
I believe so. Yeah, he was. At number 11, you got Schultz, which I thought that was a little low, but still in there. He was very big for Dallas.
It makes me think kind of like what happened with Zeke last year. Yeah, I know Schultz hurt his PCL, I think it was, and they said that afterwards he's like, no, he's fine. But I also remember after he heard it, he played the Rams, and then he had to go get it checked out because he re-aggravated whatever. Yeah, it makes me feel like he never fully healed because Schultz has the talent and he's Dak's second favorite target. For him to end 11th.
Yeah, that's true. Now at number 12, you got the second player from this team, the actual tight end of this team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Juwan Johnson, New Orleans.
And that to me is probably the biggest surprise there.
That was a big surprise for me as well.
Yeah, he came out of nowhere. So props to him.
Yeah, he did. And number 13, actually tied for number 13. These two guys, 13 and 14, are tied. Okay. Which is Knox and Njoku.
Okay.
Knox, I'm surprised because I thought, looking at what he did last season, I really thought he was going to do much, much better. I thought Knox was a little low because, it's just with all that offense that they have with McKenzie, with Gabe Davis, with Stefan, of course, so that was a little surprising. And tied with him was also Njoku, which, I was a little surprised with that too. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, but I do feel like Njoku is definitely a player to look at next year with a whole year with not a whole year, but like a whole off season. I mean, getting chemistry with Deshaun Watson. I mean,
that's true.
You never know.
And he did show a little bit of like highlights in the end zone.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's true.
Big target.
Yeah. And now to finish off the top 15, Gerald Everett.
Definitely somebody that we didn't have on our list, but I do want to shout out. I remember when we posted it on Instagram, we had a page and it goes by the name of FF League Winners. I'm assuming it stands for Fantasy Football League Winners altogether.
You would think.
They commented saying, I think Everett should be top 15 at least, maybe even 12. Called it accurate. So, hey, FF League Winner, congratulations. You guys got it right. Follow them. They're sure. Under a comment. They very clearly know what they're talking about. So, awesome.
No doubt. And that finishes off the top 15 tight end rankings for the season of 2022.
Awesome. So now that we have that, right, I want to kick off a new segment that we're going to do for every ranking. We're going to go through these rankings like Jay just did, and then we're going to talk about 4 things. Number 1, what players we got spot on, meaning that player ended up in this position. Me or Jay predicted him to end that position. Boom, we got him spot on. Number 2, the players that we didn't even have in our rankings and ended up in our rankings. Okay, those are going to be called the no-shows or the not listed. Then we're going to do our hits and our misses. The way our hits are going to work is not necessarily our spot on players, but maybe players that we were off by 1 or 2, maybe players that, we were so high on and then they ended up doing a little worse or even a little bit better, but still close enough for us to be within that bracket. And our misses is going to be, well, I think that's pretty obvious. We predicted this player to do well and ended up doing terrible, or predicted them to do terrible and he did well. We'll see. Yeah. We'll see how that goes. But let's do it for the tight ends. All right. So I'm going to kick it off with the players that were not listed.
Okay.
Because there was quite a bit. So you and I didn't even rank him. And that's Evan Ingram at number 5. We had no hope in him. At least I didn't. I was like, you know what? He got no hands. We have no wide receivers in the Giants. There's no way he's going to do that in Jacksonville. Boy, was I proven wrong. Props to him. I'm happy for him. But, yeah, we didn't have him listed. Okay. The player after him, we also didn't have listed. Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill. Now,
that's like a little cheat code, though. Like, come on.
I was going to say, I'll be honest. The reason I didn't have him there is because for fantasy.
I mean, to start off, he's not a tight end.
Yes, that's the number one thing. He's a quarterback. And then most of the time when he gets the ball, if he's not running, he's throwing. So
yeah, exactly.
Catching is like his last option. Fantasy, before the season started, if I'm not mistaken, he was available as a quarterback, not a tight end.
Yes.
So it's like, Can you really blame us for not putting him there? I guess you can. Now, if this was updated throughout the season, which I'll get into in a bit, then yes, blame us. But keep in mind, we did this before fantasy started. Never again. So, it's kind of what are you gonna do about it? Number 7, Cole Kmet. We didn't rank him either. None of us had him in our list. As we mentioned already, shocking. Didn't expect that from him. Props to him though. Number 8, thankfully we had. Number 9 though, Tyler Higbee. We didn't rank either. And he ended up 9th. Again, the injuries helped him out a little bit. So, but regardless, props to him. Then the last 3 were pretty shocking. Jawan Johnson, again, not even on my radar. Nope. I don't know about you, but he wasn't even on my radar.
Nope, he wasn't. He really wasn't.
So, like, when I was thinking about, like, the last 5 spots, he wasn't even a name that I was like, well, maybe no. So, wow, got that one completely wrong. Good job. Number 14, we also got wrong. Njoku, because we didn't place him at all.
Nope. He's so inconsistent.
That's what I'm saying. Like, before the season, I was like, well, he shows flashes, but then he goes back to being nothing. Yeah. Yes, Deshaun Watson's coming back, but he's coming back at the end. So I was like, he ain't nothing. And, well, clearly he was something.
Yeah.
And last but not least, we already mentioned it. Shout out to FF League winners again. Gerald Everett. Somebody that I know you were high on, but not high enough.
Yeah.
I personally wasn't even high on at all. I was like, there's no way he makes the top 20. And, well, I was very clearly wrong. But yeah, those were the ones that we didn't list at all. Like we weren't on our radar, or we just simply didn't think about.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna go into the ones that we had spot on, and this will be quick because there's only one we got spot on. And by when I say we, I mean me, because Jay here didn't have a single player spot on. I did. To be fair, it's kind of cheating because it was the most obvious one. I put Travis Kelce at 1 preseason ranking. He ended up 1. I know you put him close, but not close enough. So.
Yeah.
But we're gonna get to that now. Okay, now we're gonna go into our misses and our hits. But I want you to kick us off. I want you to tell me what were your biggest misses in the tight end position, and then your biggest hit. So we're only gonna do top 3, okay? Because I mean, looking through these rankings, we had like 5 hits, 5 misses on every position, but we decided to only go top 3. You know, our 3 worst misses and our 3 best hits. So I want you to kick us off with your misses and your hits.
It's gonna be so bad. All right. So my top 3 worst misses.
Oh God.
At number 3,
yeah,
Austin Hooper. Right. Oh. So listen, last season in Cleveland, he wasn't the worst. And I thought him going to Tennessee after AJ leaving, I was like, he's gonna be the guy. He is going to be the guy.
The logic is there.
So I had him at number 13. That's where I had ranked him. Boy, was I wrong.
Where did he end?
He ended 25th.
I mean,
25th. You know, not that far off, which is why he's my third.
Yeah.
Right. So, and number 2,
it only gets worse, baby.
It only gets worse. It only gets worse. And number 2, Waller. Okay. Now, last season played amazing. So I was like, this is a no-brainer. He's gonna be a top 3 tight end. I had him at number 3.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, that one, oh my God, that one I definitely got wrong. He ended up 27th overall in the tight end position. 27th. That to me is freaking mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. I had him at 3rd. So that was a big L for me. But absolutely. At number 1.
Oh boy.
At number 1. I got a guy that wasn't even ranked. Okay. I had him ranked at 14th, which is Cameron Brate.
Oh my God.
I had him ranked 14th, and let me tell you, this guy wasn't in the top 15. He wasn't in the top 20, not even in the top 30, not even in the top 50.
I'm sorry, what?
Okay. This man ended up 61st in the tight end position. 61st, a guy that I ranked 14th, a guy that I ranked in my top 15.
Well,
61st.
Fair to say that's a pretty bad mess. Pretty bad mess.
Yeah.
But you know what? Not everything is bad. What were your top 3 hits?
All right. Yeah. Let's turn this around a little bit. Okay. So my top 3 best hits. So at number 3, I had to go with Goddard. Okay. Goddard, I had him ranked 8th, not that far off. He was ranked 10th. Okay. You know, I knew he was going to be a big part of that Philly offense, especially now with AJ. I knew they were going to be on the field a little longer, getting more first downs, which they did. And so I was off by 2. So that was a hit for me.
And to be fair, if I could just say, I think if it wasn't for his injury, you might have right now you were off by 2 in terms of you ranked him too higher than what he really ended. I think if he would have never been hurt, he would have possibly been at the very least 2 lower. I think he might have been top 6. So
maybe, yeah, he could have been 6. Yeah. But yeah, so at number 2, again, I had for the tight end position, it was so bad that at number 2, I had Kelce as my second best, right? So now obviously he finished number 1 overall. I had Kelce as number 2 overall. So I'm gonna go ahead and pat myself in the back because I was just 1 off.
Sure.
But then again,
let's give him that
obvious.
One. Let's give him that one.
It was obvious. But at number 1 overall, and there's a reason why I have him number 1. All right. And you know, I had very big hopes for this man. All right. And that is TJ Hawkinson.
Oh,
okay. He exceeded my expectations.
Oh, okay.
Not just that, he helped me win my 16-man league.
That he did. He did.
So Hawkinson, I had him ranked at 5th, and he ended up actually second overall. So he exceeded my expectations by 3. So, sir, thank you very much. I'm gonna go ahead and shout you out with that trophy. I'm gonna take a picture and I'm gonna tag you. So I appreciate you, my man. So yeah, so those were my 3 worst and my 3 best tight end predictions. What about you? What do you got?
All right, well, misses. All right, let's start with the misses. At number 3, I predicted Logan Thomas to finish 15th. I wouldn't say high hopes, but the thing is, when I did those rankings, I looked at 15. I was like, okay, there's nobody here that like I want to put. Logan Thomas. No, he already has a scary Terry. I didn't think Curtis Samuel was gonna be good. The rookie I never heard of. So I was like, you know what? Carson Wentz is a check down quarterback. Maybe Logan Thomas could be good. He was good enough to be 35th. Okay, that's how good he was. He was 35th. He was good enough that when I drafted him as my backup tight end in every league, he was dropped by like week 2. So
wow.
Yeah.
How long did you keep him in your leagues?
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. I dropped it after week 2. After week 2, I was like, you know what? This guy ain't gonna do nothing. In second place, we have, just like you, Darren Waller. I'm just gonna run through the rankings and then I'll say a little bit, because you already talked about it. I had him ranked as well at number 3.
Yeah.
Just like you, but he ended 27th. Now, I do think injuries are a big part of it. But to be fair, we could have kind of seen that coming because last season he had already been hurt. So we're like, maybe he's not the most reliable. He's already hitting that 30, Devontae Adams is there. We already knew how that was going to be with Derek Carr and Devontae Adams. So in a way, it's kind of like, well, maybe we did overrank him, but he has the talent to be top 3, if not top 5 at the waivers.
Yep.
So it's, it's an L that I'll take.
Top 10.
Yeah.
If not top 15.
Top 10 is, in my opinion, without question. But things happen. But my number 1, and I regret drafting this man.
Oh, you drafted him too.
I drafted him in the 2nd round. Well, technically 4th because 2 keepers, but whatever. Yes, he had a bad quarterback play.
Okay.
Yes, he got hurt at the end.
Okay.
But his talent it should be like George Kittle, quarterback proof. Kyle Pitts.
Ooh.
I rank Kyle Pitts at number 4.
Oh my God. And you had him at number 4.
Yeah.
Which before the season started is pretty realistic.
Before the season started, some people would say that might be too low. Some people might put him 3 or 2.
It was pretty realistic.
But he ended 32nd.
Jeez.
He didn't end 3 or 2. He ended 3-2. So it was it's pretty disappointing. I drafted him and let's just say that didn't work out for me. Not in the least. But you know what? Whatever. That was the bad side. Let's go into the good side. My biggest hits. Again, same thing. I kind of had a couple good ones, but I would say that the third one is Noah Fant. Now, to be fair, he did not end top 15. He ended number 18, but I ranked him 14th. So technically, I'm pretty close. Obviously, again, yes, he's not top 15. So should that really count? I'll let you guys decide. But
yeah,
I think that's pretty close because I also
usually the fantasy points between those positions aren't really that far off. Yeah. But again, 4 ranks off.
Not only that, I think honestly coming to the season, nobody thought Noah Fant would do anything.
Right.
He was already a bust, quote unquote, at the Broncos. They're like, oh, now he's going to Seahawks with a worse quarterback. He's gonna be bad. Thankfully, he wasn't.
Yeah.
And number 2, I have a guy that I'm big on that you really haven't been big on for a while. Pat Freiermuth. Okay. Yeah. I had ranked him at 10. He ended up 8th. That's cool with me.
Nice.
I'm very happy with that. I think he has a lot of talent, especially in the red zone. He's a big body. He has pretty secure hands. I feel like if Kenny Pickett could develop, Pat Freiermuth could be a very big fantasy asset.
Yeah.
But only time will tell. And now number 1, Dawson Knox.
Ooh.
I ranked him at 12. He ended 13th. So,
nice.
Basically right there. Right there. Dawson Knox, I think, is talented. It's just like you said, the Buffalo offense has so many weapons. Like number 1, very clearly Stephon Diggs. Number 2, Gabe Davis. They have the slot players, McKenzie. They have that new rookie, Shakir, that looked pretty good in certain games. They have 2 decent to good running backs, and James Cook and Devin Singletary. Josh Allen can run. So it's like Dawson Knox is always going to be hard to be in the top 10. But I was like, you know what? 12 sounds about right. I was only off by 1. So honestly, I'll take that as a major win. Of course. I'm happy with that. And that wraps it up for that.
Yeah, tight end, it was not good for us. Again, you got 1 spot on, and other than that, it was not great.
I do want to come back to something I said earlier. So when we did these rankings, right? We did them in the preseason. We did them a couple weeks before the draft. And then obviously, again, since life got in the way, we never really came back to it. We never really updated the rankings or anything. The plan is for this year, if everything goes well, we're going to do weekly rankings. Okay. So we'll do obviously the preseason rank like we did this year. But then after week 1, we'll give you brand new rankings. After week 2, after week 3, so on and so forth. Just something simple, something quick, run off our rankings. That way we could kind of compare week to week. Because again, the ones that we didn't put, like Evan Ingram, Juwan Johnson, Higbee, if we were doing it throughout the season, obviously they'd be in our rankings. Like,
yeah,
we'd see Evan Ingram going crazy. We're like, okay, we have to throw him in there. But again, since this is all preseason, it's not updated, which is why so many misses, like Cameron Brate, like Austin Hooper, like Logan Thomas, like players that weren't relevant. And we left out players that really were
like Taysom Hill.
Yeah, we left out players that were. So, this coming season, hopefully we'll be able to do that, give weekly rankings. And hopefully that also helps people out. Sometimes I'm stuck in like, all right, this season I had Goddard in every league and my back was usually Schultz. Sometimes it would be somebody else, but for the sake of argument, I bet, should I start Goddard or Schultz this week? And I really wouldn't know. So what I would do is I'd listen to some podcasts, I'd watch some videos on what rankings they have from people I trust. And I would see what the argument was, and then I'd go off that. So, being able to do that ourselves, I think it could help not only us, but it can help others. So hopefully this year we'll be able to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
So that wraps up the tight end edition. But stay tuned, because coming next, we got the quarterbacks. And boy, does it get juicy from there. Let me tell you, you guys do not want to miss out. Stay tuned. Catch you guys soon.